Greetings, my fellow recording nerds! The salutation. I hope you're all having an awesome day. Do you know what goes well with awesome day? A big old slap in the face from the cold mistress of reality. Let's face it, the music business is a tough one. Whether you're a gigging musician, a recording or mixing engineer, a session player, a songwriter, etc., 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 ad nauseum, it can be tough to get your foot in the door and start making a living from music. My aim with this video is to help you stop sitting around doing nothing and hopefully put you in the right direction to finally make some money doing music. And if you get a reply from a text me on Telegram account from someone claiming to be me, no, you didn't win anything, so smarten the fuck up. I've been recording and mixing from a converted 2-car garage here for almost 20 years. And the truth is, most of that time, I also held a day job in manufacturing. It was hard to balance both, but I persevered and it's really paid off in the long run. A few years ago, I got my YouTube channel to the point where I was able to quit my day job and do music full time. And I owe a tremendous debt to you guys. I am truly grateful that I can do this, but for some people, it's hard to even get started. How do you get clients? How do you get people to actually buy your music? How do you get any real work in this business? Fortunately, I've picked up on a few things that I want to share with you and hopefully get you started. Number 1, sell on Fiverr. During the lockdowns of 2020 and 21, Fiverr saw a massive increase in content creators on their website, many of them being musicians stuck at home with no other way to make money. The great thing about Fiverr is that anyone can sell anything on it, and chances are if you're looking for something, you can probably find someone who can provide it for you. Some of these might be of questionable quality, and some of them might be the deal of a lifetime. This is where you come in. If you've got something someone wants but can't do it themselves, you can charge them for it. This can be as simple as running someone's MIDI tracks through your totally legit version of Superior Drummer, or to go full-blown mixing. You got a selection of awesome tube amps? Offer a reamp service. Can you record live drums? Offer that. The trick is to find your niche and give people something they can't easily do themselves. Now, don't offer up stupid shit like programming drums for songs. Guess what? People can do that by themselves! In short, learn what the market wants, and if you can provide a quality product, you'll be compensated for it. At least that's the theory. Musicians get very creative when it comes to avoiding paying someone. Number 2, do live sound. Now that the fake news virus has started to get under control and freedom can reign once again, except in certain states, of course, because the Christian Taliban dictates otherwise, live shows are coming back in spades. And what does every live show need? A live sound guy. Not even an amazing sound guy, just a competent one. Though, to be fair, seeing a good one would be a nice change of pace. Seriously though, I've been to a crap ton of shows over the years, and some of them have been absolutely unbearable when it comes to the sound at the venue. Drums lacking any definition, cymbals screeching all over the place, and guitars that are just a painful kind of sound. Overloaded bass, and the worst offender, the singer barely being audible. And yes, while the bands can be to blame for this because they didn't bother to pay the guy, ultimately the audience are the ones that suffer. If you think you have what it takes to do live sound, then yeah, freaking go for it. Go to bars and venues that host concerts and offer to do sound for a gig. Who knows, maybe if you impress them enough, they'll give you a permanent position. But remember, you have to know what you're doing. Any idiot can hook up a Kemper to a board and get decent results. Hang on a sec, scratch that. I've seen more than a few sound guys shuffle around the stage in absolute bewilderment when the guitar player asks them to hook his Axe effects directly up to the board. You have to make sure that you can work with the gear that's provided to you and you can get consistently good results with it. Number 3, become a roadie. I know what you're thinking.
But Glenn, how's carrying other people's shit around working in music?
Well, Mr. I'm too good for manual labor, I'm glad you asked. Just remember, Full Sail calls a job in a record store working in the industry and uses that to pad their placement numbers. First of all, being a roadie is far more than just carrying people's shit around. It's your responsibility to keep an eye on equipment that makes or breaks the show. It's just as much of an integral part of the event as anything else, so don't belittle the position. And no, you're not too good to work as a roadie, you thankless ingrate. Besides, there are other cool benefits to the job. For example, you're going to make some great connections and possibly meet some important people who know and understand the music business far better than you do. You can also use your time as a roadie to learn how a live show operates. Over time, this stuff will become second nature to you, and you'd be surprised just how few people are good at keeping an event organized and running smoothly. This can bring you potential opportunities for the future. For example, look at how many of Megadeth's drum techs have wound up in the band. Number 4, invest in cryptocurrencies. Just fucking with you guys. Number 4 for real this time, repair and set up instruments. If you're handy with a soldering iron or you know what a truss rod is, this one's for you. Yeah, sometimes shit breaks. It's a pain in the ass to deal with, and unfortunately, most people have no idea how to do any proper repair or setup on their gear, especially for beginners or the folks who think that Elmer's glue is a fucking delicacy. This is where you come in. With proper advertising, like posting on Facebook groups or putting up flyers at a music store, you can get the word out and make money by repairing people's equipment. And if you're good at it, you'll probably be booked for a while, especially if you know how to fix a broken tube amp. Number 5, flipping on the used market. Now, look, buying online can be a bit daunting, and I can already hear some of you guys going,
But Glenn, I don't want to buy stuff online. What if it's wrecked?
Well, there's a great way to get your hands on gear without giving your money to reverb.com. That, my friends, is your local used market. Wherever you might live, there is probably a site for listing classified ads, or at the very least, you have access to the Facebook marketplace. Seriously, go check it out from time to time. You'd be surprised at just what you can find. And when you do find something for absurdly cheap, chances are you can resell it for just a bit more. One of my scriptwriters does this quite a bit, and one of his more recent acquisitions was a Rode NTK tube mic. I have one myself. It's great. The lucky bastard got it for $100 for crom's sakes, and according to him, he found someone who was willing to buy it for $250 in just a couple of days. Hell, I got this incredible made in Mexico Fender Jazz way back for only $200. It served me extremely well in the studio, but if I needed to, I could probably sell it for 2 times the amount I got it for. I've even had guys come in with much more expensive basses offering to trade me for this thing. Finding a deal like that won't happen on a daily basis, but if you do it enough, it does start to add up. And that means a few extra $100 at the end of the month that can be the difference between paying rent or sleeping under a bridge with the local meth guys. A few tips regarding this point. Number 1, make sure you do your research. Check what the gear goes for new and calculate if it's actually worth your time to even try and make a profit on. And 2, make sure you test whatever you're buying. Check the gear extensively for cosmetic and functional damage. And if anyone gives you shit about wanting to test the gear that they're selling, run the fuck away. Oh, and if they try to take you to a dimly lit basement to try out a bass cabinet, bring a flashlight. I got royally fucked over like this by a guy selling me a cabinet. He brought me to his basement and everything sounded good to my ears, but when I got it home, I found that there were small cuts in all of the speakers. I got ripped off. Fortunately, now everybody's got a flashlight on their smartphone. Don't be a sucker. Make sure to use it. Number 6, rent out your gear. This is something I'm surprised isn't done more often. Seriously, the possibilities here are endless. Let's say you've got a great condenser in your mic locker, but you don't have a lot of recording sessions lined up. You can always rent out that microphone for the weekend to an engineer who does have a session, but maybe doesn't have as good of a mic collection. Or better yet, rent it out to one of those SoundCloud kids who records vocals with their headset mics. Another group you can potentially rent your gear to are gigging bands. Let's say a young band wants to play a show, but all they have are small 15-watt practice amps that realistically won't be loud enough, that is, if their drummer shows up. Well, make them a deal. Tell them you'll bring your amps and your cabs to the show for a bit of cash. If your gear is just sitting at home and not making you money, this is a surefire way to put it to good use. Oh, just be sure that you trust the people that you're renting to. Some people tend to be a little bit on the stupid side when it comes to handling things that aren't theirs. Be sure to print out a contract saying they're responsible for repairs and compensation if the gear is damaged or even worse, stolen. And make their parents co-sign. Proceed with caution. Number 7, work at a music store. This one's fairly simple. Plenty of people who work at music stores are in fact musicians. Who would have thought that people who like guitars would want to work in a place that's filled with guitars? It's like flies to shit, I tell you. Working in a music store can be an awesome and fulfilling experience, and awful and terrifying as well. If you've ever walked into a Guitar Center 2 days before Christmas, you know exactly what I mean. Imagine having to experience that racket for 40 hours a week. Seriously, I don't know how you guys who work at music stores do it. My hat is off to you. You're far more patient than I. Now, if you do want to work in a music store, keep this in mind. First of all, you're going to have to know your shit. You're going to be helping a lot of people who don't know a damn thing about instruments or what they should be buying. It's your job to help them make an informed purchase. Second, you have to realize that because you're working at a music store, you have a direct incentive to sell as much as possible because a large chunk of your pay comes from sales commissions. I urge you to recognize that bias and act accordingly. Please be a decent human being and don't go selling some poor kid a terrible instrument just so you can pocket an extra $50 at the end of the month. Number 8, develop music and audio software. I've spoken quite a few times on the topic of college, particularly how most music colleges are a complete and utter scam that's going to bury you knee-deep in debt and knee-deep in bullshit. But let's say you actually chose a decent college major like computer or software engineering, instead of some bullshit like, Mongolian history or health benefits of interpretive dance. If you're also a musician, you can put that knowledge to good use and start developing audio software. Apps, programs, plugins, you name it. When it comes to music production and really all types of audio production, people are moving more and more away from physical hardware towards digital. Even some of the top engineers in the world make outstanding mixes all in the box. So why not join the gold rush and make something awesome that people will want to buy? And if you can program, my company, Spectre Digital, is always hiring. Even if you decide to make a cool plugin or app for free, you can bet that if enough people find it useful, they'll make sure to support what you do through donations. Look at the guys from TSC Audio. They make that awesome plugin version of a Tech 21 bass Sans amp. It's one of, if not the most popular freeware bass plugins out there. They stay afloat because of the donations they get from people who love their products. And hey, if you've made something like a plugin or an app that's related to music, please let me know in the comments. I'd love to check it out and possibly even give you a job. Number 9, movie/game sound. I know I must sound like a broken record sometimes, but this is an inescapable fact. The age of modern technology has brought music production into people's bedrooms on an unprecedented level. Just about anyone with a $200 interface and a $200 microphone can make magic happen on a computer. This has created business opportunities in a shit ton of industries, including the movie and game industries. Both of those industries always have people looking to handle the audio side of things, from music composers to voice actors to Foley artists. You know, those guys who put up a mic and smack vegetables against their tables to make cool sound effects? Needless to say, if you have a microphone and a little bit of imagination, you can bet a game developer or a movie maker will gladly pay you for your work. I myself did sound design for a Quake 2 add-on at the end of the 90s, and it was a lot of fun. I got to do some voice acting and got very creative with hammers and produce. Number 10, offer lessons. Another fairly easy way to earn some money doing music is to teach it. It's not be viable if you're a beginner, but for the most part, it's absolutely viable if you want to score some extra cash on a weekly basis. Finding students isn't that difficult again either. I refer you to the post ads on Facebook and hang up some flyers ideas. The trick with teaching is more so balancing what the students want to learn versus what they ought to learn. Why no, Johnny, I can't teach you how to play Master of Puppets yet. First, we have to learn how to palm mute. This is true for pretty much every aspect of music. Guitar, drums, piano, singing, you name it. All of these have to be approached in their own specific way according to what your students actually want. Just ask yourself this. Do you want to be the cool teacher everybody likes, or do you want to be the annoying bitch that everyone secretly wants to push down the stairs to put her out of her misery? 11, start a YouTube channel / grow a social media following. Now, before you start losing your collective minds about this, allow me to explain. When I started my YouTube channel, I had no idea it would ever grow into what it is today. I made my money at a regular day job and recorded bands on the side, and I was happy to do it. Right now with YouTube, I get to pick and choose what bands I work with, and as far as I'm concerned, I am still making a living doing music and having an awful lot of fun with it. What am I getting at though? Well, who's to say you can't do the same? I mean, why not? What is stopping you? I think if most people were honest with themselves and did some genuine self-reflection, they'd realize that their answer to these questions are usually summed up with one word: excuses. Do you have a phone? Well, you've got a camera. Do you have a microphone? Well, if you're doing audio, then probably yeah. The tools are there for you to use. You just need to put your mind to it and come up with an idea that resonates with people. Now, sure, there are things that you might not be perfect at. You might suck at making thumbnails. I know I do. Maybe you have a hard time performing on camera, but if you never try, you're never going to know what your shortcomings are, and by extension, you'll never learn to overcome them. If you want to make good content, you have to know where your strengths lie and play to them as much as possible. That will help you carve out your own space on places like YouTube, and who knows, maybe you'll have a viral hit that helps you build a bigger audience than you can imagine. Maybe that audience will want to buy your music. It worked for Jared Dines, it can work for you too. So why the hell are you still watching this video? Go make your own! The bottom line. Now, before you go doing any of this, you should keep something very important in mind. If you really want to make money in the music business, you have to be able to offer potential clients something they can't do themselves. Great gear is becoming cheaper and cheaper, and the information on how to make it sound good is already out there on YouTube. Please watch my tutorials. Today, anyone can buy an interface and a microphone and get pretty decent results. So you have to ask yourself, what can I do to stand out from the crowd? What can I do that most people can't, and how can I potentially monetize it? The most valuable thing you have today isn't a $10,000 signal chain, a collection of tube amps, or a fancy looking studio. It's knowledge and creativity. It's being great to work with, and so on and so forth. These things are your capital, your assets, just as much as the computer you're recording on or the bass guitar you still haven't restringed in 5 years. Now, to be perfectly clear, I truly hope that you put your mind to it and really push yourself. Because if you want to make money in the music business, you've got to be a go-getter and give up a lot of leisure to make a healthy living. Sure, it sucks that you have to work hard to have a music career, but as the saying goes, nothing worth having comes easy. And hey, if nothing else works, you just might be good looking enough to start an OnlyFans. But probably not. Have fun with this one, Ziz. I've been recording and mixing from a place and guitar. This one's a bit of a mouthful. Give me a second. But you don't have a lot of... Jesus Christ. Let's do that one more time. I myself did sound design for a Twake 2? Yeah. Another fairly easy way to earn. God damn it. We'll do that one more time. Sorry about that, Ziz. Sure. Fuck! One more time. Why can't I fucking say this out loud? Sure. God damn it. Sure, it sucks that you have to work hard to have a music career. Now, to be clear, I hope that you... Ow! Fuck's sakes!